Surveys and questionnaires. The questionnaire really is the core of really the research and the surveys as well. And between the two of them, we're going to talk about the aspect of the surveys and questionnaires. An effective survey demands mastery of the sampling, mastery of the questionnaire design. If you have a poor design, you're going to miss the point of the entire research. You need to make certain that you have effective supporting procedures. And there's a whole series of things we're listed right over here. What sort of descriptive information best addresses the research question? That's a big deal. If you can get your questions really well calibrated and to the point that you understand what you're saying, but the language is simplistic enough that your sample audience understands it enough to give you an answer that would fit within your parameters, then life is really good. Field the questionnaire and manage the data collection. That's a big thing because you're going to sit there, field it, you're going to get the responses, and you're going to get something back. The thing back is called the data, and you want to collect it and make sure you're managing properly in your system. And then you have a really big deal to deal with the non-response. If for instance, you take on the task of knocking door to door, there's some people that they're inside their house, they're not going to come to the front door, and you're not going to make them no matter what happens. So how do you deal with that? If you sit down, you call somebody up on the phone, they think that they don't know your number, they don't answer, that's a non-response. How do you plan on dealing with that? Are you going to provide some type of incentive to get a response out of them? Either way, you have to figure out on the data analysis what's going to happen on your questionnaire. Internet surveys, there's a lot of merit to them, but you got to be cautious because nowadays we have so much spam on the internet. People are ignoring an awful lot of really decent research data. Rapid development, real-time reporting, there's reduced cost to it. Personalized questions and data. There's so much metadata out there that you can sit down there and customize the whole aspect of what that's about. And if you pay attention to some of the different aspects, anywhere from TikTok to Instagram and so on, you'll see there's a huge amount of metadata on that that's migrated away from Facebook. Facebook lost a huge opportunity on internet surveys when Apple started blocking access and data from the people actually working the system. So all of a sudden, Facebook was the premier place to go gather data, and all of a sudden they were blocked from receiving the data. And so as a result, their entire marketing business almost disintegrated within a matter of less than a year. Improved respondent participation and contact with the hard to reach. A lot of it on the internet, you can find a different methodology to administer the surveys. We're going to talk more about the different mediums, especially on the internet. Conduct focus groups. You can do that online. It's fabulous to do it that way, and your response rate can be superb, and you have that super fabulous primary data without the travel. Other types of marketing research, but there's spammers galore. Collecting online surveys, there's web survey systems, there's survey design, web hosting sites, online panel providers. There's so much opportunity on the internet now. You can probably run an entire aspect of it. On LinkedIn, I'm regularly asked to be part of a panel. I almost always decline it, but the reality of being part of a panel is somebody's getting firsthand primary data on an online format from who knows where, and they get to collect the data that way. Shopping for a survey website. Yes, even researchers have stores. No, it's not like Costco or Walmart, but there's Capteria survey software. I'm a little bit surprised as the amount of software they have available out there. If you're going to be doing types of regular research online, there's all kinds of different research materials out there and tools to go out and build your own survey system. And literally, even though that people are frightened of actually responding to different things, you can sit down and deal with the survey and then and actually have some intelligent data coming back off it with a decent interval and range and ratio of your population sample versus the entire general population of your potential consumer. So it depends. The intergroup comparisons, we have multi-descriptors of perceptions on large versus small buyers, our brand versus brand A versus brand B. You're going to be looking at things like that. You may be looking for information because you're launching a business to provide this type of a service. Who's already doing that? Will they be a direct competitor to get you nose to nose, or will they be a partial competitor, or will we be having a much narrow perspective? What are you doing? Are they in your region where you plan on making your launch? Is it all 100% online? Who is in that? What type of business model are you looking at? I would refer you to Entrepreneurship 211. We talk about a lot of that. Is it a long tail model? If so, who else is out there? If it's a multi-sided model, who else is doing that? Okay, and then can you focus in on one side and really deal with that? So it depends where you're at on your surveys, but there's a lot of different material to look at. Especially if you're a small business, you can create one of these that fits your specific purpose for what you want to do. So developing a segmentation scheme, who exactly in your segment do you want to have? Do you have a specific population you're looking at? Is it all male, all female, all young people? By young people, what does young people mean? Is that 7 to 13 years old? Is it really the young consumer, the 18 to 24-year-old? Is it middle age? Is it people that have children, people who don't have children? What exactly is your segmentation scheme or your profile segment that you're looking at? Are you looking to hit specific households with an income level above a certain amount? Because you have an expensive service or an expensive product that you want to sell. There's a whole series of ways of actually starting to segment your users. You can use census data, but you can also go to the online shopping store and get your stuff that'll help you segment out your specific consumer that you want to have. Track the quantity over time, make certain that they're satisfied with the product they bought, or whether or not they've been satisfied with the company that your competitor has bought. And then can you pick off those that are not satisfied because you have a better service or product? What is their buying intentions over the next year? How do they feel about the economy? There's a lot of different ways to create a survey that's going to benefit your small business. You can provide a large sample precision. If you can pull that off, life is good. Okay, you really look at the objectivity of large probability samples depending where you're at. And there's a wealth of high-powered analytical tools available at a reasonable price that you can operate yourself. Go shopping, create your own, or hire somebody out there. It depends really where you're out. On the surveys, the positive, you can get a complex multi-level distinction among groups. So multiple different levels, different types of groups, different demographic characteristics, and you might have some intertemporal comparisons too between the different groups that you can sit down and start focusing in to your specific service or multiple levels of service or a different side of the service that you really had not considered. Sometimes your service weakness, you get broad data, but very shallow. Okay, so sometimes it's not, but why they want it. So make certain your questions are designed to actually pivot off each other, that this question asks about this, but you may have another aspect of that you want to make certain you capture that, but you don't want to use that double-barreled question by asking two questions in the same one. So sometimes you have to take time out and maybe sit down and focus in on one segment of your survey. Okay, but sometimes you can't reveal what you don't know to ask about, because you don't know what you don't know, which is why you're conducting the research, so you will know what you don't know. So with that being said, like interviews represent self-reports. Okay, self-report data has many limits and biases. So survey weaknesses, sometimes if you don't get the questions right or get the question as specific as you need to, you may not get the answers because it could be too broad or not specific for your actual market. So participation in surveys is intrinsically unrewarding. They have to be quick, few, simple, and easy. If you don't have questions that have those criteria, quick, simple, few, and easy, you're going to lose your audience. We live in a world, literally, it depends what study that you read, but it says that the average human has an attention span of 6.7 seconds to 7.2 seconds. And they also claim that a goldfish has an attention span of 7.9 seconds. We have less attention spans than a goldfish. That's a problem. Okay, so the reality is you as a researcher better pay attention to make certain that you can actually keep a goldfish attention span right there watching you. So sing and dance, whatever you have to do. That includes making certain the human out there that you've got something simple, quick, few, and easy. Once you start going past 5 to 7 questions, you've pretty much lost your audience. We have a short attention span. So pay attention to that. That's part of the whole aspect of the weaknesses. So design your questions well. Don't waste the responder's time or yours. have a good segmentation scheme, and the narrower the group, the higher the positive correlation. So make certain you focus in on that and beware of that internet spam problem because it's huge. So be cautious when you go into the marketplace. Make certain that the consumer is not afraid of your survey or your questions you're about to ask. Take care.